In a world where strange things seem to happen all the time, have you ever stopped to think about what this really means? Images of inexplicable phenomena, devastating natural events, and even social situations that defy logic surround us. It's as if we are living in a science fiction movie, but the truth is that many of these situations were predicted thousands of years ago. Imagine the impact of seeing something so extraordinary that you wonder, how is this possible? What if all this were connected to ancient prophecies? What does the Bible really say about the times we live in? These questions may seem distant, but they are closer to your reality than you might think. While many ignore these signs, others wonder, are we living in the last days? Or is all this just part of a natural cycle of life? With each new day, new stories emerge and the doubt persists. Let's explore these intriguing events together, making a connection between what is happening in the world and what was written in the scriptures. Get ready for a journey that can change the way you see the world around you. Biblical prophecies and world events. When it comes to biblical prophecies, the connection with contemporary events is a subject that generates both fascination and debate. Many believe that ancient scriptures contain predictions about what we are experiencing today. For example, intensifying natural disasters, such as hurricanes and earthquakes, are often cited as fulfillment of prophecies that speak of difficult times. It's not uncommon to hear people pointing to the Bible for answers to the calamities that have plagued the world in recent years. Moreover, the conflicts we see on a global scale also find parallels in biblical texts. The current wars and geopolitical tensions are frequently interpreted in light of the prophecies, leading many to believe that we are living in an end-times period. This reading of the scriptures is not limited to religious groups. It permeates the daily lives of many people seeking meaning in the current crises. Thus, the Bible becomes a lens through which many analyze the reality around them. Another interesting aspect is the change in social norms. What was once considered unacceptable is now often defended as a matter of rights. This transformation provokes heated debates between those who see the new norms as a rupture of established morality and those who view them as progress. In this context, the Bible is used both to justify changes and to argue for the preservation of traditional values. Furthermore, the relationship between spirituality and world events is a recurring theme. Many people seek solace in the scriptures during periods of crisis, believing that prophecies can offer not only an explanation, but also a path of hope. This belief in a positive outcome, even amid chaos, is a form of spiritual resistance that has been observed throughout history. In the end, if we delve deeper, we can see that this search for connection between prophecies and current events is not just a matter of religiosity, but also a reflection of the human need to find order amid despair. Thus, the conversation around biblical prophecies and contemporary realities continues to evolve, fueling curiosity and the quest for answers in times of uncertainty. Inexplicable natural phenomena. In recent years, we have seen an alarming increase in the frequency and intensity of natural phenomena. Devastating earthquakes, hurricanes that ravage entire cities, and floods that submerge entire communities are just a few examples. As these events become increasingly common, many wonder, is there an explanation for this? Or are we facing something inexplicable? Science tries to understand the causes behind these disasters, but the answers are not always satisfactory. Some experts attribute this increase to climate change, while others argue that they are just natural cycles of the Earth. However, the feeling that something is out of the ordinary permeates public discourse. This perception of climatic anomalies makes many people turn to spirituality in search of answers. Religious beliefs often offer an interpretation that goes beyond science, pointing to a higher force that could be behind these events. On the other hand, media coverage of these phenomena also contributes to the feeling that we are living in exceptional times. Images of natural disasters are broadcast in real time, creating an emotional connection and a sense of urgency that did not exist a few decades ago. This leads to a cycle of fear and, at times, a search for explanations that go beyond what reason can provide. Furthermore, many believe that these events are interconnected with issues of morality and human behavior. The idea that nature could be taking revenge on humanity for its destructive actions is a narrative that resonates in various cultures. This view can be seen as a way of trying to make sense of the uncontrollable, seeking to understand the relationship between humans and the natural world. Finally, the discussion about inexplicable natural phenomena leads us to reflect on our own vulnerability. When facing disasters, we are confronted with the fragility of life and the need to seek comfort and security. This search often leads us to explore spiritual issues, resulting in a continuous dialogue between science, faith, and the human experience. Social and cultural changes. The social and cultural transformations we are witnessing today are profound and complex. Civil rights movements, gender issues, and changes in moral norms are challenging traditions that have endured for centuries. What was once considered taboo is now often discussed openly, generating both enthusiasm and resistance. This dynamic reveals a fertile ground for debates about the nature of change and its impacts on society. On one hand, many see these changes as a necessary evolution that seeks equality and inclusion. The youth, in particular, are at the forefront of these transformations, questioning established norms and demanding a space for previously marginalized voices. This new generation is redefining what it means to be part of society, and this brings a freshness that can be both inspiring and challenging for older generations. However, this change also provokes a counterreaction. Those who feel threatened by the erosion of traditional norms often raise flags of resistance. The fear of the unknown, combined with a sense of loss of control, can result in conservative movements that seek to preserve the status quo. This social polarization creates a tense environment where coexistence becomes a challenge. In this context, religion plays an ambiguous role. While some religious traditions adapt and embrace the changes, others stand firm in their doctrines, resisting what they see as a threat to morality. This dichotomy generates heated debates within faith communities, with many questioning what it really means to live a life according to spiritual principles in a constantly changing world. In the end, social and cultural changes invite us to reflect on what we consider normal. In an increasingly plural world, the ability to listen and respect different perspectives is essential. The search for a balance between tradition and innovation continues to be a central theme in our society, leading to dialogues that shape the future of our communities. Technological advances and ethics. Today, technology advances at a rapid pace. What once seemed like science fiction is now part of daily life. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, robotics, all of this transforms the way we live, work, and relate. But with these innovations come ethical questions that cannot be ignored. Are we ready to deal with the consequences of these new tools? And more importantly, how do they relate to the biblical teachings that guide us morally? Artificial intelligence, for example, raises debates about free will and the nature of the soul. If a machine can learn and make decisions, to what extent can we consider this as life or intelligence? What do the scriptures say about creation and the essence of being human? There is an ethical dilemma in using technologies that can, in some way, imitate divine creation. The implications are profound and, at times, unsettling. Moreover, biotechnology, with its promises of cures and improvements in quality of life, also provokes questions. Genetic manipulation has the potential to eradicate diseases, but how far should we go? The idea of playing God can be seen as an affront to biblical principles that advocate respecting creation. Here arises the need for an ethical debate that considers not only the benefits, but also the risks and responsibilities that come with this power. The relationship between faith and technology is also a fertile field for reflection. Many people find comfort in the idea that technology can be an extension of divine providence, a way to improve human life. Others, however, see it as a trap that can distance humanity from its spiritual essence. What we cannot forget is that, regardless of technological advancement, ethics must always guide our decisions and actions. In the end, society faces the challenge of balancing innovation and morality. As we delve deeper into an increasingly technological future, the need for an ethical approach based on principles that transcend time, such as biblical teachings, becomes more evident. What can we learn from the scriptures about the responsible use of what we create? This is the question that should guide our steps. Geopolitical conflicts and eschatology. Geopolitical conflicts have intensified in recent decades, and many observers seek to understand these events in the light of the scriptures. Eschatology, or the study of the last things, offers a lens through which we can analyze global tensions. The wars and rumors of wars mentioned in the Bible seem to resonate with contemporary reality, leading many to question whether we are living in the end times. Biblical locations, such as Jerusalem, continue to be points of significant conflict. The spiritual and historical importance of these regions cannot be underestimated, and the struggle for control over these spaces often reflects not just a political clash, but also a religious one. The biblical narratives about the end times, with their prophecies and promises, are frequently invoked in discourses that try to make sense of current crises. As nations align and oppose each other, the interpretation of the scriptures becomes a hot topic. Some believe that certain events are aligned with biblical predictions, while others see this as an exaggerated interpretation. The tension between these perspectives can create divisions, but also a desire to seek a deeper understanding of what the Bible really says. The conflicts also raise questions about hope and despair. In times of uncertainty, many look to the scriptures for comfort and direction. The promises of a better future and the idea that history does not end in chaos, but in redemption, are fundamental to many faith traditions. This reminds us that, even amid turmoil, there is a larger narrative at play. Eschatology, therefore, is not just about dark predictions, but also about the hope that transcends circumstances. Reflecting on geopolitical conflicts, it is essential to consider how messages of faith can help us navigate turbulent times. It is an invitation to reflect on what it means to live in a constantly changing world, always seeking peace and reconciliation. Increase in supernatural reports. In recent years, the increase in reports of supernatural experiences has drawn attention. Curiosities about miraculous healings, apparitions, and spiritual phenomena have emerged in various cultures. Such reports challenge scientific understanding and lead us to reflect on the nature of reality. After all, what is the supernatural, and how does it relate to faith and biblical teachings? Many people who experience these phenomena report profound transformations in their lives. For them, these experiences are not mere coincidences, but divine manifestations that reaffirm their belief and connection with the spiritual. This search for the supernatural can be seen as a response to growing secularization and the quest for meaning in a world that often seems chaotic and meaningless. The Bible is full of accounts of miracles and divine interventions. From healings and deliverances to events that defy logic, such stories hold significant weight in the Christian faith. Many believe that these contemporary reports are a continuation of divine action in history, a way for God to communicate with humanity today. This leads us to question, are we more receptive to the supernatural in times of crisis? On the other hand, science often tries to explain these events rationally. The line between faith and reason becomes thin when talking about phenomena that defy logic. The need for a scientific explanation is natural, but this does not diminish the subjective experience of those who witness the supernatural. Both spheres, faith and science, can coexist, even if in tension. Finally, the increase in supernatural reports sheds light on the human quest for something greater. In a world that often seems devoid of meaning, these experiences offer hope and reaffirm the belief in something beyond what we can see. Reflecting on the supernatural invites us to consider how spirituality can enrich our lives and deepen our understanding of the divine in a constantly changing world. Impact of misinformation and conspiracy theories. Today, misinformation spreads like wildfire. With the rise of social media, anyone can be both a transmitter and receiver of information, and this has its consequences. Conspiracy theories, which were once seen as mere curiosities, now gain new life. Often, these narratives create an environment of distrust towards established institutions, from governments to health organizations. What was once a common sense of faith and evidence now transforms into skepticism, leading many to question not just the facts, but also the integrity of science and truth. The crisis of faith that accompanies the spread of misinformation is not just about incorrect information, but about a deeper sense of insecurity. When people encounter complex world events, such as pandemics or economic crises, the need for clear explanations becomes urgent. However, instead of well-founded answers, many find themselves attracted to narratives that promise simple explanations for complicated situations. This leads to a fragmentation of truth, where each group clings to its version of reality, creating even greater divisions in society. Moreover, the role of influential figures in this scenario cannot be underestimated. Leaders who promote conspiracy theories often gain fervent followers, fueling a culture of distrust. The rhetoric used is often seductive, promising followers a hidden truth that the powerful try to hide. This dynamic not only affects public perception of current events, but also undermines trust in the institutions that should protect society, such as the press and public health agencies. With this, a moral dilemma arises. While some people strive to combat misinformation, others become increasingly solidified in their conspiratorial beliefs. The debate becomes heated and empathy is lost along the way. Conversations that could lead to mutual understanding often turn into confrontations where logic and reason are left aside. This leads us to reflect on the importance of critical education that empowers individuals to discern between what is true and what is just another theory. Finally, misinformation is not just a communication problem, it is a matter of spirituality and trust. Many seek comfort in their religious beliefs, but at the same time, misinformation can lead to doubt and fear. The lack of clarity about the truth can result in a crisis of faith, causing some people to drift away from their religious traditions. Addressing this phenomenon, it is vital to consider how faith communities can offer a safe space for dialogue and the search for truth, a space where doubt can coexist with belief. Hope and spiritual resilience. In times of uncertainty and chaos, spirituality becomes an anchor for many. Hope, which may seem like a distant light amid darkness, is often fueled by religious beliefs. For those who turn to faith, spirituality offers a perspective that transcends the difficulties of daily life. This spiritual resilience, in many cases, transforms into a powerful coping mechanism, allowing individuals and communities to find meaning amid suffering. The practice of prayer, for example, is a resource that many use to seek comfort and clarity. When the world around us seems to be falling apart, connecting with something greater can provide emotional and psychological relief. Religions, with their narratives of hope and renewal, offer promises of a better future, which can be especially comforting in times of crisis. This quest for spiritual comfort helps shape how people react to adverse events, promoting a sense of unity and mutual support. Furthermore, religious communities often become pillars of support during difficult times. They offer a space for people to share their experiences and fears, creating a sense of belonging. The solidarity that arises from these interactions can be a balm for those who feel isolated or overwhelmed. In many cases, spiritual resilience is not just an individual matter, but a collective force that can mobilize entire communities in pursuit of constructive and positive actions. With growing social polarization, spirituality can also serve as a link that unites different groups. By emphasizing common values, such as compassion and empathy, religious traditions can promote a more open dialogue between people with divergent opinions. This approach not only strengthens social bonds, but also helps create a more welcoming environment where hope can thrive, even amid challenges. Finally, spiritual resilience is a powerful tool that allows us to face life's storms with courage and determination. Religious beliefs offer not only emotional refuge, but also an invitation to action. Through spirituality, many people find motivation to contribute positively to society, helping those in need and promoting significant changes. Thus, in times of uncertainty, hope and faith intertwine, forming a support network that can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and renewal. So, folks, look, while we reflect on everything we've seen so far, it's impossible not to ask ourselves, are these strange things happening in the world a sign of the times? Many stories in the Bible talk about surprising events, and today, it seems like we are living through some of them. Have you ever stopped to think about what all this really means for us as Christians? Let's take a look. How can we prepare spiritually for these events? The Bible teaches us to be alert and vigilant. What have you done to get closer to God in this global scenario? What are your expectations for the future? And don't forget, these situations should not make us afraid, but rather motivate us to seek more divine truth. What can we learn from this, and how can we act? So, if you liked this content and want to continue exploring these fascinating topics, how about leaving your like and subscribing to the channel? Share your opinions in the comments. Your voice is important and can inspire many others. Let's unravel the mysteries of faith and the Bible together in such intriguing times.